1987 Formula One World Championship, is the only race of the year in North America, the Detroit Grand Prix. Like Monte Carlo, it's round the houses, but the atmosphere is very different. It's a tight, bumpy circuit which runs round the modern Renaissance Centre in the heart of downtown Detroit, which is, of course, America's motor manufacturing city. It's a 63-lap race. Here the cars are off on their final warm-up lap, and once again it's Nigel Mansell at the head of the line, because he has dominated both days of practice and will start from pole position. He's 1.4 seconds faster than everyone else, and yet again it's Ayrton Senna who's second quickest in the Lotus Honda. Nelson Piquet's Williams Honda is third fastest. Thierry Boutsen in the Benetton Ford with engine modifications for this race is an impressive fourth. Alain Prost can do no better than fifth fastest in his McLaren in a circuit which he publicly dislikes. Eddie Cheever is a very impressive sixth fastest in the Arrows. Cheever, of course, is an American, although he lives in Italy, and he's anxious to do well in front of his home crowd. Seventh fastest, Michele Alboretto's Ferrari. Eighth fastest, Teo Fabi in the other Benetton. Riccardo Patrese's Brabham is 9th, and 10th Derek Warwick in the other Arrows. This is the view from Nakajima's Lotus, which is carrying an onboard television camera. 63 laps. As usual, the start is a red light and then a green. There is the red. And on the green, Nigel Mansell makes a perfect start from pole position. The yellow Lotus of Ayrton Senna moves across to take second place. Third is Nelson Piquet. Fourth is Eddie Cheever in the Arrows. And fifth and sixth, the two Benettons, with Teo Fabi just ahead of Thierry Boutsen. And in seventh place, the Ferrari of Alboretto, which immediately moves past Thierry Boutsen to take sixth. Nakajima hits one car on the very first lap. And then is hit himself from behind by another car, which gives a most unusual television picture. The car that hits him is the Minardi of Adrian Campos. He's out of the race. So Mansell leads from Senna. Piquet is third, Cheever fourth, Fabi fifth, Alboretto sixth, Prost is now seventh, Boutsen eighth, Berger is ninth, and Derek Warwick 10th. Here's a replay of the incident with Nakajima. Campos drives on, although he does later retire. The completion of the first lap, Cheever is still fourth, Fabi and Alboretto still fifth and sixth, with the McLaren of Prost still seventh. But Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna have made a break, and the two of them are pulling cleanly away from the rest of the field. Piquet and Cheever follow. Piquet in third place is being caught by Eddie Cheever. It's because his car is developing a puncture, and Eddie Cheever in fourth place is driving a magnificent race. He goes past him under braking into third. So Eddie Cheever is the new third man in the Arrows Megatron, and the rest of them are getting very close to Piquet, whose handling is deteriorating. There's a battle between Fabi and Alboretto. But Piquet peels off and goes into the pits to have his puncture changed. Mansell shakes off the attentions of Ayrton Senna and pulls out a good lead, as as Nelson Piquet rejoins the race, now down in 21st place. Farby challenges Cheever, the two of them collide. Farby's nose section comes off. He drives on towards the pits, but the front of his car is badly damaged. Eddie Cheever has a puncture as well as damaged rear suspension, and his progress to the pits is much slower. Derek Warwick, his teammate, is also in trouble with broken rear suspension, and he too drives slowly back to the pits. Nelson Piquet is making up time after his early delay and has climbed back up from 21st place now to 7th. Martin Brundle is in the pits with the turbocharger of his Zack Speed on fire. The fire extinguishers come into play as Alain Prost overtakes Thierry Boutsen. Gerhard Berger follows. But the other Ferrari of Michele Alboreto comes into the pits to retire with gearbox trouble. Still, Nigel Mansell continues in a comfortable lead from Ayrton Senna in 2nd place and Alain Prost now in 3rd place. Mansell comes in for his routine tyre stop. But there's a problem with the right rear tyre. They can get the old wheel off, but the new one is difficult to put on. And the pit stop takes 17 seconds, some 9 or 10 seconds longer than it should. Mansell blasts back into the race in 3rd place. Ayrton Senna now leads. But Mansell still feels confident because he is expecting that Senna too will have to have a pit stop for fresh tyres. Philippe Alliot parks his Lola hard against the wall. Nelson Piquet's progress up the field gets him onto the tail of Alain Prost, who has now made his routine stop for tyres. And in the traffic, Piquet gets past. Philip Streffs-Tyrrell, running in 7th place and best placed non-turbocharged car, loses a wheel in front of the pits. It comes to a harmless halt on 3 wheels, but the wheel itself travels on alone down the track, being avoided by the other cars. Ayrton Senna now leads, but Nigel Mansell in 2nd place has cramp in one of his legs, and he's in intense discomfort. He loses 2nd place to teammate Piquet, and then he loses 3rd place to Alain Prost. Before the race is over, he will also lose 4th place to the Ferrari of Gerhard Berger. So Ayrton Senna, who has made his original set of tyres last the entire distance, is able to romp home an easy winner. He's followed by Stefan Johansson's McLaren, which is a lap behind. For the 2nd year running, he wins the Detroit Grand Prix, and it's Ayrton Senna's 2nd win on the trot, as he won in Monte Carlo 3 weeks ago. The Lotus personnel are delighted, and so are the Brazilians in the crowd. One of them gives Ayrton a Brazilian flag for his lap of honour. Senna first, Piquet 2nd and Prost 3rd, with Berger's Ferrari 4th, Nigel Mansell a lap behind in 5th place, and Eddie Cheever comes back up to 6th place, albeit 3 laps behind. In the World Championship, Senna goes into the lead by 2 points from Prost, with Piquet a further 4 points down. Johansson is still 4th, Mansell still 5th, and Berger is 6th. In the Constructors' Championship, McLaren have a 5-point lead now over Williams, with Lotus a further 3 points behind. It's now back to Europe for round 6, the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard,